Hello everyone and welcome back to Moonclan, where we are in year 10 now, a decade into the clan. So let's just jump right in and start with our leader Moonstar, who has been feeling a lot more comfortable in her position as a leader this year. She of course is still grieving the loss of her three most loved ones, all being lost within just a year. Her father Featherbreeze, despite the two not being very close, both when she was younger and also a little bit in her older age, as well as her beloved mother Echolite and a loyal friend Basilnose. She's proud of her kits and does her best to help them all, though she tends to pay more attention to Silverstring at the moment, as he's the only one without a mentor. Moonstar does not hide her grief from her clan when her only daughter Snowpaw, meets an unfortunate fate, which we will get to when we do actually get to Snowpaw. She's grown a lot since becoming leader and wants to show her clan that there is strength in mourning. It should not be taken lightly. She continues her duties, but is also sure to take time honoring her kitten, as well as other loved ones, by visiting Moonclan's graveyard often. And with a killer on the loose, Moonstar briefly thinks of forming an alliance with another clan, but chances are that the killer is in her own clan due to matters that we will get to, no matter how horrible that was. Or from another clan. Either way, an alliance unfortunately wouldn't do good in this situation, she deems. At least, Sproutnose seems very interested in solving the mystery, and they often talk of her thoughts in her den. After some trouble with Magpie Clan leading to a new clanmate, Moonstar is not oblivious to the anger Magpie Star has towards them. Moonstar considers expanding her borders to show power, but in a way that won't cause an all-out war. Magpie Clan has definitely become more aggressive on the borders, and Moonstar makes sure that the ones they share are strong and clear. She is appalled at the new dogs Two Legs seems to be bringing into the forest, along with loud sounds in the far distance, making all the larger animals in the forest very restless. It's not too much of a bother, since it seems like the large noises never get too close to Two Leg Place, but their dogs do sometimes, and they're never on the long vines the Two Legs have for them. All the way in winter, Moonstar always keeps a close eye on her warriors and is proud of how the younger ones have grown, although she's displeased to find that Honeyroot, a new warrior, seems to have fallen into bad habits of doubting his abilities again. Gently, she puts him up to a little test that he successfully accomplishes like it's nothing. She doesn't tell him, but she can see that his mood has in fact improved. When Badgertooth retires later in the year, it's time for Moonstar to choose a new deputy. And though she really wanted to choose Mouse Freckle, the she-cat is unfortunately too close to retirement. Following traditions, there's really only 2 cats who are eligible to be chosen. And we will see who was actually chosen later on. Moonstar is shocked when Snowy Screech, a very young warrior of Sage Clan, jumps up beside the leaders during the gathering. Apparently, Sage Star and Sporepatch had died falling down the gorge, presumably while being chased by something. Snowy Star has already received her 9 lives and welcomes Leaf Shadow back into the clan, as his exile turned out to have been a mistake. Moonstar isn't the only one who finds it very suspicious that both the leader and deputy died at the same time, but no one questions it further, seeing as she already has 9 lives and most cats trusted StarClan's decision. Badgertooth has been doing his job perfectly so far this year. Not a single mishap. He's proud to be deputy, but is looking forward to his time as elder, watching one of the younger cats take over his work while simply sunning himself in camp. Badgertooth feels a little self-doubt as his patrol returns late. He feels like he might have been keeping them from their usual speed. The patrol, however, kept insisting that it was the pouring rain and had nothing to do with him. He gets a bit paranoid as his time as deputy comes to an end. Who knows what kind of cats are out there looking to take down an old deputy to gain power? Surely the theoretical bad cat could wait until he retires peacefully that night. Right? He has always been a little bit of an anxious boy. The clan has started talking about Badgertooth's eventual retirement. At first he's concerned, but later understands that the cats around him really did like him as deputy. He ends up finding a rice stalk while out on patrol and decides to wear it as a sign of endearment for himself. He's proud of what he's done and is reminding himself of all he has accomplished. As the moons go by, he's getting extra sassy as everyone has fun with his time as deputy. In his last moons as deputy, Badgertooth makes sure that Moonstar hears all his thoughts and rules about the patrols he sends out. Remember, this cat likes the time and doesn't go here during these seasons. Try to keep up with this border. He's anxious to leave the position to someone else, but is grateful to all his clanmates for their support and trust in him. On the same moon Badgertooth was born 12 years ago, he retired with a long and loud party. His replacement as deputy was chosen later that evening. And we will get to him in 2 seconds. However, first we actually need to talk about Chestnut. So Chestnut is a pretty old cat. He's very level-headed and doesn't stand out much. He spends most of his free time with his mate Gingerdon, and the rest being a good warrior on patrols. He is looking forward to his retirement, especially as he's retiring in about the same time as the current deputy Badgertooth. Chestnut confidently tries to show off to the younger warriors in the clan, and is embarrassed when he completely fails a hunting move due to his stiff back. And it gets even worse when the newest warrior, Honeyhaven, jokingly suggests he retires. However, with all the partying and loud laughing during Badgertooth's retirement party, he couldn't help but announce his own retirement alongside the Tom. And our new deputy is Siskinwing. Siskinwing earns a sprain while night hunting, his favorite activity to do with Sproutnose. As when she was a kitty pet, the two would walk around the territory, and he could show her around at night. Siskinwing jokingly grumbles about Sproutnose being so excited as he has a hard time moving with his brain. The two always tease each other, but make sure to show love for their partner, at least equally as often. Siskinwing is surprised to be approached by Chestnut, a cat he hasn't really spoken to much. Chestnut is starting to look his age, and it feels almost like he's faking looking older than he really is as he approaches Siskinwing. The old Tom talks about his young days and what he wouldn't give to have a kits and his mate to be so young. Slightly uncomfortable, Siskinwing simply goes along with whatever he's saying, along with all the grumbles of his old body when he finally leaves. Suddenly, looking moons younger again. Siskinwing rolls his eyes. He's never really lived with elders in the clan, except for the old medicine cat Featherbreeze, but now he's starting to understand what that's going to be like. Siskinwing likes taking a nap with his mate and is so grateful for her joining. He tells her often how grateful he is for her sacrifice. And when she feels a tug of seeing her old kitty pet home, he doesn't hesitate to go with her. He understands that Sproutnose misses her old home, but knows that she wouldn't leave him alone in the clan. Siskinwing, unfortunately, has a nasty run-in with a fox and gets his tail mangled in the process. He is, of course, shocked as he's chosen as deputy. He knows there weren't a lot of options, but with how oddly close Moonstar and Wormflower had been in the past, he was sure that they would be picked at least over him. Even Freckle seemed more likely despite her age. His happiness is cut short when his former mentor badly injured. When he finds his former mentor badly injured and ends up dragging her back to camp, he prays to Clangen that Freckle will be alright. Sproutnose is so excited when she's finally done with the medicine den after almost half a year. She's been really happy to help Silverstring in his journey as a medicine cat, but it's clear that her tail wasn't healing more than this, and she's relieved to have full authority over her actions again. Sproutnose is pretty invested in the mystery around Snowpaw's death, and she truly doesn't believe it to be either of the apprentices in the den at the time. Firepaw nor Honeypaw, as they loved the she-cat as if they were all siblings. Wormflower didn't care enough, and it wasn't like her... Oh my gosh. Wormflower didn't care enough, and it wasn't like they had ever shown harm towards anyone, nor did they seem too bothered being a mentor. It was a real mystery, but she was determined to do some sniffing around. She does notice something odd. The cats of Jade's clan seem very on edge. They're usually the calmest clan out there, but lately their cats have seemed very jumpy. One of their apprentices has been missing for a while, and when Sproutnose talks to Silverstring about it, as he's been with the medicine cats lately, he refuses to say anything. Sproutnose has been so focused on the mystery that she's been looking out for Snowpaw's siblings, Silverstring and Firepaw. Seeing Firepaw earn his warrior name warmed her heart and got her hoping to have kits of her own with Siskinwing eventually. She was patrolling along the two-leg place border, and she couldn't help but go out to see her old nest again, and got to terms with what had happened as she left. When she got to the spot where Spider Dapple had died in an accident, she was attacked by rats. Sproutnose couldn't tell whether it was StarClan showing their disapproval, or if she deserved it for accidentally causing the death of another, despite how terrible he'd been. While injured, Firepaw, now having his warrior name, actually approaches Sproutnose and asks her about his sister's death. Unfortunately, she can't say she's found much, but is honored when he wishes to join her cause in finding the killer. Her scarred pelt heals, though it's clear that the rats got her good. She'll always carry the scars. Sproutnose yowls the loudest as Siskinwing is chosen as deputy. She couldn't be prouder of her mate and loves him with all her heart. Heatherdew has it really hard when getting out of her nest in the morning. Cats often call her lazy or childish, but she really appreciates Badgertooth's understanding, as he only ever assigns her to the midday or night patrols. Heatherdew is extremely shaken as a bunch of branches fall down on her, completely immobilizing her. Her patrol, consisting of Sproutnose and Freckle, help her out. And the two cats even end up comforting their clanmate. Heatherdew feels like she has a place in the clan, despite being more on the quiet side, and it seems like she and Sproutnose are becoming friends. Heatherdew is the cat most worried about Badgertooth's retirement, maybe even more than the deputy himself. She often follows him, whining and worrying about how she's supposed to deal with all her duties after he retires. What if the new deputy refuses to let her off the dawn patrols? Badgertooth tries to reassure her, but she still worries. Heatherdew never seems to be able to walk properly on patrol. She's always complaining when she goes on dawn patrol, so Badgertooth, of course, never puts her on, so she hasn't gone on any for quite a while. The clan is starting to get a bit annoyed with her attitude and wonders if she's just lazy, once again. It feels really bad wondering what she's doing wrong, not having as much energy as the other cats for things such as patrolling. And she unfortunately starts to believe that maybe she is just lazy. She starts talking to Silverstring, and the young medicine cat starts getting ideas of how to make things easier for her. He talks to both Moonstar and Badgertooth about her needs. Heatherdew has that are different from others. Silverstring decides that she shouldn't be doing warrior duties if she doesn't have the energy. Instead, she gets a special role as campkeeper. She tends to the nests, helps Silverstring out, and gets time to relax her mind. It quickly feels a lot better, and Heatherdew is starting to feel more confident in herself, as well as getting out of her nest earlier in the day, because she actually wants to. Heatherdew grows so much healthier in both mind and body with her new routines, and is so grateful to live in a clan where that is possible. She still enjoys hunting and going on patrols, but not as often as the others. In fact, she's done more dawn patrols the last moon than she has done for the whole year. Silverstring is very busy with all his duties. He has training with Sage Clan's medicine cat apprentice, with Magpie Clan's medicine cat as their mentor every other day. Sproutnose is still in the medicine den with a mangled tail, and he's worried he doesn't have the skills to fully heal her. When, with his sister's sudden and terrible death, and Sproutnose no longer being tied to the medicine den, Silverstring has noticed just how lonely it was being a lone medicine cat. He is starting to doubt the teachings of the Magpie Clan medicine cat, Faith Glare. The she-cat seems set in her old ways of life and was in full support of Honeyroot getting exiled as a 2-moon-old kitten. And we will get to Honeyroot soon enough. Reluctantly, he keeps training under the medicine cats, but keeps getting closer to Pale Bear, and is ready to be done with his training. He's feeling fairly confident on his own nowadays. Silverstring is shocked when Sage Clan's medicine cat reveals to him that one of their apprentices was poisoned. They think that it was his own mentor, Leaf Shadow, who did it. He's now exiled. She lets it slip that she'd had a prophecy, but quickly shuts her mouth about it and as it had nothing to do with Moonclan. Silverstring does not push further. The medicine cats have finally decided to stop their meetings with each other, as both Silverstring as well as the Sage Clan medicine cat apprentice seems to be well trained at this point. As he announces it to Moonstar, she's proud, but he's a bit sad not to have a ceremony with his mother giving his name. When he voices his concerns, Moonstar surprises him with a congratulations ceremony, as well as a small feast the same night. Silverstring has become more religious in to his duty. He always keeps an eye out for different injuries his clanmates try to hide, after he notices that cats apparently don't always tell him when they're hurting. He's constantly considered very skilled by his clanmates despite his age, and is often praised by the other medicine cats. All the positive comments sometimes gets him a little bit flustered. Silverstring finds himself wondering what it would be like to get an apprentice. He never really wanted to be a medicine cat all alone, and often thought that there would be plenty of them, as when he was a kitten, there was his retired grandfather, Featherbreeze, well, not grandfather, but basically adopted grandfather, and his grandmother, Ecolite, and the apprentice, Batpaw. Hopefully StarClan could give him a sign soon so he wouldn't have to go through all this work alone. Silverstring is horrified when one of his best friends, Tanglebrush, the medicine cat of Sage Clan, who he had trained with for a long time, suddenly comes running into camp. She looks terrified as she asks to speak with Silverstring. He listens to her as she explains that both Sage Star and Sporepatch, the deputy, were found dead in the gorge. Sage Star lost all her 9 lives, and Snowy Screech was chosen as the new leader. Worse yet, Snowy Screech is the former mate of Leaf Shadow, and she's ordered her new deputy and some warriors to go bring him home, as she doesn't believe he tried to kill his apprentice. Now everyone is listening to her, and Tanglebrush doesn't know what to do. Silverstring does his best to comfort his friend, but it's hard, and she eventually goes back to her own clan. He was out a little too long looking for herbs in the cold. Well, that's what he's told his clan. He actually went to meet Tanglebrush at the Sage Clan border to comfort her, though he felt guilty. He had no intentions on breaking the code and was simply there with a friend. When Faith Glare stuck her nose in things, though she's... When Faith Glare stuck her nose into things, though, and found them, she is killed by a loose dog right in front of the 2 young medicine cats. Magpie Clan is now convinced a Moonclan cat killed her. Meanwhile, Silverstring feels like it just might be his fault when Magpie Star yowls about the murder of Faith Glare and announces war on Moonclan at the next gathering. Mouse Freckle has really been enjoying her time with the clan and is determined to always be a loyal warrior. She's desperate to keep her mate Storkflight happy here after Shellburst's exile, but can't deny that the she-cat seems flighty to get her back. Mouse Freckle feels lost as Storkflight actually leaves too. Now she's all alone and hopes that Moonstar has noticed her sacrifices for the clan. Though the 2 aren't very close, so she understands if the leader isn't going to praise her for basic loyalty. Mouse Freckle is frustrated with the rumors that she'll leave to be with Shellburst, just like her mate did. She's tired of them, and as she really is loyal. It's so hard living without her mates, but she never intends on living with a paw in both worlds. She accidentally catches Ginger Dawn intensely staring into a wall. Awkwardly, she backs up and stalks away, without the odd cat noticing her. This is actually something Ginger Dawn did. She just started looking into a wall for presumably no reason. Mouse Freckle has an amazing idea with the older cats in the clan. Now that Badgertooth is retiring soon, all the older cats should have a fun event for the younger warriors in the clan. The others think this sounds like a good idea. Even Wormflower seems keen on the idea, assuming the medicine cat is part of the young warriors they're celebrating. They plan it for moons, and on Badgertooth's last day, they all celebrate his amazing accomplishments and the youth in the clan. It's an amazing event that goes far into the night, and as the moon rises, Moonstar holds a deputy ceremony. Mouse Freckle wasn't tempted by retirement. She still felt like a young and fit cat, and would serve her clan for many moons in the future, working twice as hard to prove herself due to the choices of her mates. Something she would never regret. Mouse Freckle had a really unfortunate run-in with a ruthless rogue, hungry from the harsh weather, and ended up getting really hurt. She managed to drag her own half-conscious body to a common patrol spot where she was found and quickly moved into the medicine den. Icespots, unfortunately, does not have too much going on for him this year, mostly because, well, he wasn't here for most of the year. So Poor Icespots actually starts with having lots of tales from his past adventures as a kitty pet, though Firepod doubts the legitimacy of the stories, and he and his siblings have seem to enjoy them nonetheless. However, when Greenleaf is just around the corner, odd two-leg activities have been caught the clan's eye. Badgertooth and Icespots end up checking it out, and they find little silver traps similar to the ones in the old territories. Badgertooth quickly snaps an order, but it's already too late as the trap clicks shut around Icespots, and he is taken away, unfortunately. And so far he has not returned. He's not dead yet, the clan hasn't heard anything, but we don't know where he is, and we'll have to wait until next year to hopefully see what happens to him. Now, Wormflower has had a mess of a year. They aren't too worried about Snowpaw's death. In fact, if anything, they feel relieved. Whatever darkness was leaking from her whenever she was sleeping was finally gone, and Moonclan would be far better off without it. Wormflower is appalled to have their tail badly injured by a small dog that had been loose on the border. They end up scowling to themselves in the medicine den, mostly ignoring Silverstring's attempts to chat. During their stay in the medicine den, however, Wormflower is surprised to find themselves actually talking to the young medicine cat and opening up. The kid was really charming, and they really couldn't help but find his interest in two-leg objects adorable. They started not really minding their stay. They started not really minding their stay in the den and actually thought Silverstring would make an amazing medicine cat in the future. A feeling that was quite odd to them. Were they proud of another cat's accomplishments? Something Wormflower has not really done before. Growing up with the ruthless night hunters? Is that what we call them? Grimm's rogues. Wormflower is having a better time than ever in the den. Despite being injured, they enjoy Silverstring's company and the relaxing atmosphere of the medicine den. So much that they really wouldn't mind getting a sprain or two in the future. Wormflower sighs in disappointment when Silverstring finally shoos them out of the medicine den. The injury is fully healed. Back to clan life. With the position of deputy soon becoming available, Wormflower hopes to be chosen. Though with their complicated relationship with Moonstar, they're really not sure she'll pick them. And of course, Wormflower swears that the only reason they weren't chosen as deputy was because their clanmates hated them. They then flatly insult Siskinwing's appearance, and the clan's opinions are unfortunately only reassured. Storkflight is very lost after Shellburst's exile. She can often be found absent-mindedly brushing leaves with her paws or staring out across the river. Her mate Freckle keeps her company, but she mostly prefers to be alone. Storkflight was caught talking to Shellburst as well as some dark grey she-cat. They were chased off by Badgertooth, Freckle, and Icespots. Though Storkflight is frustrated that her talk got interrupted, she takes Moonstar's scolding without complaint, and she understands that if she were to seek Shellburst's company again, Moonstar would not be able to welcome her back. Storkflight surprises herself when, after Snowpaw's death, she goes to the leader's den and Moonstar. And she ends up talking throughout the night. They learn a lot about each other and find comfort in each other's grief. This is the time where Storkflight feels grateful that the stars chose Moonstar, and wonders if maybe Shellburst had really been blinded by her judgment. Storkflight ends up crushing leaves under her paws the whole day out in the sun and gets a heat stroke. She's made up her mind, but is really stressed about it. After talking to both Mouse Freckle and Moonstar, Storkflight sets out to find Shellburst. Saying goodbye to the clan was harder than she thought it ever would be. And Ginger Dawn spies on her mate Chestnut after a talk about kitty pets they'd had the day before. As she patrols along the two-leg border, he watches a couple kitty pets playing with some moss balls, and Ginger Dawn leaps out of the bushes, throwing insults and jabs, accusing him of cheating. She runs away, and after the talk about it, they agree that he was just missing his old life. Ginger Dawn loves his fur. Her fur, sorry. Probably loves his fur as well. Ginger Dawn loves her fur and a pretty coat, so she gets very jealous over other she-cats, although that would not be because she has pretty fur. She admits at being a bit too obsessive and apologizes. Chestnut ends up taking her on for a romantic stroll that evening as an apology for the misunderstanding and not being clear on how he felt. Ginger Dawn is horrified when she realizes that her fur has gotten infested with fleas. She can be found crying in the medicine den as Silverstring applies anti-flea scent on her pelt. The poor cat. I remember, I don't know, have you guys ever had like, I can relate to Ginger Dawn having bugs in her hair. It's not always the most pleasant. It turns out that the fleas aren't very responsive to the anti-flea repellent or treatment that Silverstring has been giving, and as he's such a young medicine cat, he asks her to wait with fleas in her fur. She ends up going a little bit nuts, talking to random trees in the forest about her horrible situation. Probably also when Wormflower saw her just talking to a wall. As the colder weather comes, they finally die out. After these events, she can finally relax and clean her fur in peace. Ginger Dawn is a bit worried about how others are treating the wonderfully pretty she-cat Mouse Freckle, just because her mates had done awful things or left the clan. She knew a thing or two about bad mates, as she had had a lot of them before Chestnut finally came along. She ends up talking to the she-cat, and it turns out that she really needed it. Ginger Dawn ends up talking to a cat from Sage Clan at a gathering who she really enjoys. It's a Tom who also has really long and soft fur, and understands how hard it is to take care of. She stresses over all the ways her fur could get ruined in the winter air, dried up, soaked when she gets back to camp. She really isn't looking forward to patrolling this season. Here we are! Honeypaw has been really excited about night hunting as it's Siskinwing's preferred method of hunting. He's been told, however, that it's too dangerous as of right now, but soon. The day eventually comes as the two set out. Siskinwing ends up falling and lands really awkwardly on his front paw, earning him a sprain. From that moment on, Honeypaw definitely has more respect for the night. Honeypaw loves chasing Firepaw around and can almost always be found at the end of the Ginger Dawn's tail. He's not quite sure why, but it's really fun teasing the rule-obsessed Tom. Honeypaw is on a practice hunt as he gets really hungry. He has a short debate in his head whether eating the mouse would be against the code or not, since it's only a practice hunting patrol. He ends up confident that it's allowed, but still eats his mouse in secret. When it comes time for Honeypaw's warrior ceremony, he's really proud to be called a core member of the clan, honored for his leadership skills, and named Honeyroot for his accomplishments. A couple days after his naming ceremony, his patrol runs into a group of starving rogues. At first they jeer at the pathetic-looking warrior, especially warriors, especially Honeyroot with his missing leg. He fights fiercely and with mercy, though it doesn't go unmocked by the rogues. Moonstar praises him for his courage and calm nature. Honeyroot had a surprisingly bad heat stroke in the last hot wave before the colder weather as his guard was down. The clan gets a bit worried about him, but he ends up being fine with a bit of rest, poppy seeds, and water. Honeyroot notices the two legs getting increasingly rare as the colder weather comes along. But with that, nothing much more happened for him. Firepaw has always been very rigid around the senior warriors, especially his mentor Mouse Freckle, as he just admires her way too much. His mentor sneakily takes a day off just to hang out in the territory, something that is at first very uncomfortable, but eventually leads to Firepaw being a lot less stressed around his senior warriors. He is horrified when he wakes up to the body of his sister, bloody and cold. He ends up spending most of his nights sleeping next to his brother Silverstring in the medicine den, just trying to get away from the memories. Firepaw ends up spreading rumors about his sister's death. One such rumor is picked up rapidly by the clan. Wormflower is Snowpaw's killer. Her mentor had never paid any attention to her, and maybe they wanted the responsibility gone. Some of the cats around camp never liked nor trusted Wormflower due to her past as a rogue in the first place, and are happy to continue spreading it. He did it confidently, as cats were beginning to whisper about him, as he was the only cat with her at the time. Now, however, Firepaw feels guilty of what he started, as Wormflower is basically ignored and shamed by the clan. Moonstar takes him on a walk, alone. He's pretty stiff around her, and as she starts talking, Firepaw interrupts her and starts blurting out how pressured he felt as the leader's kid, as well as the need to follow the code to a T. His sister's death with a killer on the loose, and he even admits to being the one starting the rumors about Wormflower. Moonstar ends up not being angry, and they simply talk. Firepaw cries as they talk, feeling so grateful for having his mother there. Firepaw is really feeling pressured. Both he and his clan is putting on feeling the pressure both he and his clan is putting on him after his sister's death. He ends up having a complete breakdown while training, something really simple that he should know with Mouse Freckle. His mentor ends up having to leave him alone, and as he just couldn't handle anyone else at the moment. Poor guy has really been struggling. Firepaw ends up talking to the really cute she-cat from Magpie Clan, also called Honeypaw. They laugh about the name, and it's the first time in a while he's felt so relaxed. She didn't seem to care that he was Moonstar's son. StarClan, she might not even know. Right. Firepaw ends up looking forward to seeing her again. At the next gathering, Honeypaw searches him out. She has some trouble in her own clan and wonders if he could give her some advice. The two talk until clouds cover the moon, after Sagestar announces that one of the warriors, Leaf Shadow, has been exiled due to a suspected murder attempt on his own apprentice. Firepaw is happy to be honored for his composure and gets the name Firefur for his warm and tempered personality, the embodiment of a warm and caring cat. Firefur is extremely shocked when a very injured Honeypaw all of a sudden is escorted into camp. At first, he thought that maybe his own clanmates had done this to her, but it soon became very clear that she was looking for refuge against her own clan. Firefur is proud to call her a clanmate by the end of the night, and even more proud that his old mentor, Mouse Freckle, is named her mentor. Firefur is happy with his new mate, Honeyhaven, now, and as the two frolic around the forest, play fighting, he feels really bad when he accidentally pushes her so hard she falls face first into the ground and gets a couple scrapes. She's a good sport about it though, after the pain goes away. Now, Snowpaw did not have the best year. She started it out really jealous of Silverstring being given his full name without even a moon's training. She thought medicine cats took longer than warrior apprentices to earn their name. Not to mention her mother is paying so much attention to him instead of her. She's the future deputy one day. And how come he needs so much help? Snowpaw doesn't really like training with Wormflower, mostly because Leaf Shadow is so much better as a mentor anyways. Thankfully, they don't seem to have a problem with it and often just leave her alone. Turns out it's Badgertooth who she actually has to hide from, as he seems to have noticed her absence in training and has become the prime target for being called on patrols. Snowpaw slipped out of camp to avoid Badgertooth, but ended up finding a sour scent. She located the source and ends up getting her pelt torn by a badger. Her mom is proud of her for locating it and getting away with only some tears. However, she also makes it very clear that what she did was against the warrior code and could have cost her her life. Frustrated, Snowpaw is ordered to help her brother Silverstring and Badgertooth from within the den, for 3 whole days. Determined to prove herself, Snowpaw heads out in order to find Leaf Shadow. She knows he's from one of the other clans, and can only assume that such a talented fighter would be from Magpie Clan. Unfortunately, that trails a dead end, so she goes to Sage Clan and bumps into a cat named Birdheart. They're caught talking to each other, and Snowpaw is brought to camp where she finds Leaf Shadow. He's completely ignoring her, and eventually she realizes that the meeting had to be secret. She's brought back to camp and eagerly goes to her nest for the night. In the morning, her brother Firepaw fills the camp, and Snowpaw is found dead in her own nest. Honeypaw runs face first into a Moonclan patrol. Very, very angry clanmates behind her. Magpie Star had found out that she had been talking to a cat from Moonclan and had ordered her punishment. They'd gotten their claws on her, but she'd escaped in hopes of joining Moonclan and leaving behind the cruel clan for good. The Moonclan patrol defended her, and Moonstar named her an apprentice of Moonclan later that same night. Her mentor was named Mouse Freckle, who had just finished mentoring Firefur. She was so relieved to be away from her birth clan, and was enjoying the free time to talk to Firefur. And though she'd love to be mates with him, she decided to wait until she earned her warrior name, so she could show her loyalty and gratitude to Moonstar and her new clanmates first. She pulls a prank on Heatherdew, claiming to be her long-lost sister. She takes it really well, and the two quickly become friends. It's not long until Honeypaw runs into a Magpie patrol, along with her mentor, Gingerdawn and Moonstar. Moonstar makes it clear that she's a Moonclan apprentice now, and has all of Moonclan standing behind her. Her birth clan doesn't seem too happy to hear about it, and they stalk away cursing under their breaths. Honeypaw isn't used to the new territory and accidentally fell into the river that feeds Moonclan. She's unsure about the fish, but they eat it. But she eats it happily. Oh my gosh! She is unsure about the fish they eat, but is happy to hear they also do forest hunts, especially in the colder weather. Firefur is so cute when he eats fish, though, and she seems happy whenever she tries eating it. And he seems so happy whenever she tries eating it. So she's sure that it won't be long until she'll enjoy the scaly prey as well. Honeypaw is so happy when she gets her warrior name Honeyhaven. She made Moonclan her safe place, and Moonstar wanted to give her a name that reminded her that she would always be welcome here. With her new position as warrior, she finally became mates with Firefur, and the two couldn't be happier together. Honeyhaven has grown to be one of Moonclan's most fiercely loyal warriors and would do anything for her chosen clan. And that's year 10. I hope you guys really enjoyed this episode, and I can't wait to share year 11 with you guys. So without further ado, I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!